What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Boring Ballin', and today I got another trade video for you guys. We are going to be talking about two players who aren't necessarily on the trade market, but are on teams that honestly are kind of middling. Pascal Siakam and Mccollum. The Raptors had a terrible last year. It was crazy. They were the Tampa Raptors last year. That's how crazy it was. Now, do they still think they're a contender? Who knows? They're probably going to lose Kyle Lowry. Then that leaves Siakam as your best player, kind of. Is Fred VanVleet your best player? Is your number 4 pick going to be your best player? You have a lot of questions. So trading Siakam gives you not a complete reset, but it allows you to possibly get some more assets back, reset our timeline with our 4th pick in Fred VanVleet, and try to go get some more assets around those players. Now, for the Blazers, they hit the Western Conference Finals. What was that, 3 years ago now? Swept out in the first round, lost to the Pelicans in the first round. Hey, man, it's been a rough time for Dame in Portland. He's had some highlights, but as a team, they've had some really low lights too. Have they peaked? They very possibly have peaked, honestly. So, do we trade Dame? That's our franchise superstar. I don't know if we really could trade Dame, but we could trade CJ and try to maybe shuffle the cards a little bit, see what we can get for Nurkic too. Maybe we can switch it up just a little bit. So these 3 trades I have for these 2 players are trades that can help them gain the assets and get the Raptors on track with their timeline and possibly shake it up for the Blazers. Let's hop right into it. Now, this first trade I have is Pascal Siakam to the Orlando Magic. Now, the Orlando Magic have a lot of young assets. I bought them up in a previous video. If you guys haven't watched that, go check that out. It's probably down there, below there. But I said that the Magic need to make a move. They have to get somebody that can help them out. Somebody, a solidified player. Maybe you combine the 8th pick, the 5th pick. This trade I have for them would be the 8th pick, Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Terrence Ross, and a future first, maybe 2 future firsts. It honestly depends on how they see Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac. Yes, they're both coming off injury, but Jonathan Isaac looked like a defensive player of the year candidate, in all honesty. Could he reach that peak if he gets back from injury? Possibly. That's why it depends. The draft picks are going to fluctuate. Markelle Fultz as well. Number 1 overall draft pick. The shot, we know a story. We're not going to harp on that. So it really depends on how they look at those 2 guys and what the draft pick compensation would be. For the Magic, like I said, you get Siakam, pair him with the 5 pick. You got all your other young assets. Can we make the playoffs? Let's try to make the playoffs. Let's try to make a run in the playoffs too. We won how many games in the playoffs with Vucevic? Probably 2, maybe 3. It's been a rough ride. So let's try to get something rolling here. Cole Anthony, Pascal Siakam, RJ Hampton. This opens up some room for him. Let's try to get something going. The next team I have is the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Keldon Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs is one of the most intriguing assets in the league. Very intriguing. Could he be like Paul George level? Is he just going to max out at just a 3-and-D guy, like a more athletic Trevor Ariza maybe? Who knows? He's very, very young right now. He has to polish up his game. So he's included in this trade as well. The Raptors would get Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, sign and trade for Rudy Gay, and 2 future first-round picks. Now, like I said, Keldon Johnson is very, very intriguing. And obviously, the Spurs would get Pascal Siakam. Keldon Johnson, very intriguing. With the Raptors' development system and their coaching staff, could they get him and elevate his game to a player that can really help and contribute, especially next to that 4 pick and Fred VanVleet? That's the thing. They have already in place some very nice young players. OG Anunoby can play that 4 and give you some really solid defense next to Keldon. Tell him, let's go score. You don't have to focus on all the defense. It'll open up and expand his game a lot. So getting him, Lonnie Walker, he is like a Jordan Clarkson off the bench type. He's not going to go crazy 20 points a game every night. He comes off the bench, he puts in his work, he cooks, and he goes back. We're good. the picks as well, the Raptors wouldn't be hitting a complete reset, but they would be getting some assets. Yes, it would be a kind of a step back, but like being the 5th seed, like what does that do for you? You're gonna be the 5th seed, win a playoff series every other year. Like, come on, I want to win a chip. So let's try to get some assets, do what we got to do, build from there. And for the Spurs, we all know what Pop can do with big men, and we all know he's the overseas whisperer. Siakam being both, they would be a nice match. I definitely could see a Murray-Siakam crunch time pick and roll being very, very effective for them. And they can try to make the playoffs. Keeping that first-round pick this year is very key as well. Vassell last year, you can get you some more wings, replace Keldon Johnson. Let's make a playoff push. It's only been 2 years, but for San Antonio, I know that's felt like an eternity. Now, this last trade I have for Siakam is one that I think is a little bit in left field. Stay with me, but I think it gives them the best chance to still contend if that's what you want to do if you're the Raptors. So it would be the Raptors and the Hornets. The Raptors would get Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, the 11th pick, and 2 future first-round picks. Now, if they want Malik Monk 2, they can slot, hey, we want Malik Monk 2. Sign and trade. Make that happen. Getting Gordon Hayward, that 4th pick you have, and the 11th pick, we have some assets. The way we draft, the way we can find players as the Raptors organization, we can find players that can contribute today. Saddiq Bey got picked 19th last year. He had one of the best three-point shooting percentages in the league. He's a really, really nice young player. The Raptors could find a player like that, nice young asset that can mesh well with their squad. Let's try to make the playoffs with them and then go from there. Now, for the Hornets, we could try to run Siakam at 5. We have LaMelo lobs all day long. Siakam has already shown that he could play a little bit 5 because Aaron Baines was just not it last year. I've said that on multiple occasions. I'm sorry, Aaron Baines. He just didn't do it. So Siakam was running 5. He was running 4. He was everywhere. So he could do a lot. He's a Swiss Army knife. So having him on the Hornets, pairing him with LaMelo, we could definitely make that playoff push next year. PJ Washington, step up. I like your game a lot. Baby Chris Bosh a little bit more athletic. Excuse me. He's a hooper. Do something, man. Believe in you. Now, let's hop right into CJ McCollum. The first trade I have for him is for the Trailblazers to send him to the Memphis Grizzlies. This would be such a good fit next to Ja. Let's get a solidified scorer. DB, I love you, but you don't need to be taking 20 shots a game. You're an enigma. You're a lot. But I love your defense, so you could play the 3. Let's have somebody else who you know can get better buckets than you, so you don't have to shoot as much. Ja, CJ, Dylan Brooks, JJJ, Jonas. Oh, yeah. We already were at 8 seed. Let's see. Maybe we could be the new Portland Trailblazers, you feel me? And we could try to peak at the Western Conference Finals. We're all only 23, so that doesn't matter. I like that. I like that fit a lot. Now, the trade would look something like Brandon Clark, the 17th pick the Memphis Grizzlies have this year, and 2 future firsts. Yes, you got to give up a lot of firsts, and Brandon Clark, who I really, really like as a young asset, which is why I think Portland would be like, ooh, Brandon Clark and the 17th pick? Okay, let's run it. Yes, that for the Blazers, it's more of a blow-up move. That's okay, we're giving them Nurkic too, maybe even Dame. But for the Grizzlies, oh yeah, this is a setup for something great in the future. He's a dog. He'll fit right in with all the other dogs. And the picks, come on, Trailblazers, I do what you got to do. Now, the next trade destination I have for CJ is, honestly, all of these are like low-key favorites. Like, if CJ gets traded to any of these teams, he would contribute so much. All 3 of these teams are kind of young. This next team is the Detroit Pistons. If you can keep your first pick, if you're the Pistons, pair that with CJ and all the dogs that we had last year. The Pistons lost so many games last year, so many. But they were scrappy every single one. Every single time they played their hearts out. So getting them another dog, getting Cade, they'd make the play-in. 1,000%. I said it here first. I would put money on it. The trade for CJ to the Pistons was look something like Killian Hayes, Plumlee, Josh Jackson, and 2 future firsts. maybe another second-round pick this year. They'd have to give up some draft capital to the Blazers because, yes, Hayes is a nice prospect. Don't get me wrong. I really like Hayes, but he got hurt. We don't know. We have no idea. So, could he be the next James Harden? They said that about KPJ, and he's stepping up into it. So, we never really know. Jay-Z said, well, Jay-Z actually quoted somebody else. I can't think off the top of my head right now. But, Lord, we know who we are, but we know not what we may be. So, yes, right now, he might look like something. Like Jaylen Brown. Just an athlete. And then he turns into Jaylen Brown. Should be third-team All-NBA. You never really know with these players, so you got to take a chance. You have to. That's the only way you win, is if you take a chance. But that would be so nice for CJ. They make the playoffs, like I said, for sure. The Blazers, let's get this draft capital. Let's move Nurkic too. Let's blow it up. Let's see if Hayes really is that guy. Plumlee, that's another first-round pick, honestly. Just play him one more year this year. Like I said, if we trade Nurkic, he'd be our starting center. We trade him at the deadline. That's another first-round pick. Let's get these draft picks. We the Thunder now. We the Thunder now. Now, the last team I have is a team I'm like low-key a closet fan of. Like, I'm a Heat fan, but the Kings, I've been a fan of them since they had Boogie, honestly. Shout out to Doug Christie. That's my guy. Shout out to Doug Christie. He's the announcer for them now. Yes, he used to play for them too. Yeah, that's my guy. He does the announcements with Mark Jones now. But if they could trade Bagley, Buddy Hield, and 2 future firsts for CJ, we making the playoffs. We got to. If we can keep our first-round pick this year too, oh yeah, we're set. Let's just run Halliburton at the 3. We tried to do it last year too. Barnes, we did already run him at the 4. This would give the Kings the juice they need. I know they want to make a playoff push. How the Grizzlies made the playoffs before you? They definitely were up, and their rebuild was so quick. I know they want to make the playoffs so bad. Because De'Aaron Fox, if y'all can't make the playoffs in the next few years, he might be out of there. So that's a trade that I definitely can see the Kings doing. I definitely see them being aggressive either way. Bagley, like we said, I have a previous video where I had some trade destinations for Bagley, but he could also be on the move too. The Lakers have been inquiring about him. They need a shooter for sure. Who doesn't need a shooter? Everybody needs a shooter. Real life and basketball. Everybody. So having a shooter on your squad is necessary. So I definitely see the Kings could possibly move him and get some nice assets back. For the Trailblazers, can we turn Bagley into not an NBA player, he's an NBA player already. Can we turn him into an all-star? If we could turn him into an all-star, who knows? Him and Dame, that might be a nice combo. We got a shooter, we got these first-round picks. Maybe we just shuffle the deck, and maybe that was what we needed to do to get over the hump. Sometimes you do have to shuffle the deck to get over the hump. Sometimes the combo isn't right, and it just happens like that. I would love to see CJ and Dame do it together. Just don't think it's going to happen. Siakam, yes, I know the Raptors do not have to trade him now. They can just say, you know what, we're just going to keep him. That's our guy. We made him, basically. So he's staying with us. I understand that. But do you really want to be the 5th, 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th seed for the next 6, 7 years? Because that's what you're going to be. You need superstars to win in this league. That's how you win in this league. So maybe Jalen Suggs is a superstar. Are you excited for the draft? I know I am. I'm about to talk about the draft and stuff. Let's just end this video right here, guys. Leave a comment on who you guys want your team to draft and who you guys want your team to get in free agency. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter at born_ballin_. My personal Twitter is at CHEEEZ_0. My name is Cheese. And until next time, deuces. Love.